Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Commander Clash podcast. A little bit different crew this week. Tomer is traveling and lost his luggage or something, so at the last minute he couldn't make it. But we got the rest of the crew here, and we got a super fun topic today. We are going to be talking about the Warhammer 40k Commander decks. We actually went through and tier ranked most of the cards in this set. Obviously, there's so many new cards. We can't talk about all of them, but we're going to have the full tier list posted if you want to see our thoughts on it. And then we're going to talk about some of the most interesting cards and some of our favorite cards from the set. But before we get into that, we got to introduce everyone. First, we got Phil. How's it going today, Phil?
Hey, everything's fine. Apparently, it's winter again, and it's super cold in here. Like 3 years ago, I was sweating, and now I'm in a sweater. Wow.
Whew. Yeah,
wow, that must be nice, fast. Phil. That must be nice.
No, it's not. It was cool for
sweating.
no. Cool for one day. So, oh wow, finally I don't sweat anymore now. Oh my, it's so cold. It sucks pretty bad, and that's like most of the climate here for most of the year. So, you gotta get used to this again.
I gotta move in with Phil. I gotta move. I can't handle this. We're about to have like another heat wave.
Oh, are you really? Oh my goodness!
And we're moving into October and it's still hot.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm dodging that. New York's like kind of nice right now, actually. This is like the best time of the year before it gets super cold, and it's also not super hot. But you're there. We got another ghost. A hot one, literally, out in California. Krim, how are you today, Krim?
Sweaty.
I bet.
But I have my breakfast ready, so I'm ready to go. I've got some applesauce. Adults applesauce, as in it is adults can drink it. Because it's age 3+. So I am of the age to drink this applesauce.
Do they actually have an age range on applesauce? I didn't even know that was a thing.
I think it's like 3+. It said so on the box.
But
I have met the age requirement. I am ready.
All right. Well, Krim is applesauced. Phil is cold. It's time for our podcast. Before we jump into the Warhammer decks, we got a couple of reminders. One is, I think the big one is, if you need to support the show, you should head over to mtggoldfishmerch.com. You can get a playmat, you can get a t-shirt, you can get a deck box. We got tons of stuff over there. And of course, it's always nice if you like and subscribe and do all the click the dingle dangle stuff, whatever Tomer says at this point in the podcast. But do all that stuff too. It's certainly helpful. But anyway, let's talk Warhammer 40k Commander decks. And like I said, we're going to post the whole tier list so you can see our rankings on everything. But we're going to talk about some of our favorite individual cards. And let's kick it off with Phil. Phil, what do you got from us from the Warhammer 40k decks?
So when the decks were spoiled, pretty early, the commanders were spoiled, and that was Manos Kaga, the coolest commander ever printed, and my next commander. I was searching for something, and that is exactly what I was looking for. So it's let me pull up the card real quick here. Here it is. So Manos Kaga, 5 mana, Esper colors, 3/5 double strike, don't necessarily care about this. Whenever one or more tokens enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Oh my. And 6 mana, no need for tapping it. Create 2/2/2 white Astartes warrior creature tokens with vigilance. So you might notice that it doesn't say creature tokens for the first ability. So, I mean, it's not green, but if you have a tireless tracker and create a clue, that draws a card. And that's
Smothering Tithe.
Yeah. Oh, everything makes
I'm not going
to
play Smothering Tithe, but that's obviously the best one. It's like it's a bit like Prospera, in which
better than
super
Plunder.
Yes.
But you make so many treasures.
Although Pitiless Plunder does seem pretty combo-y.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to play the Plunderer, but at some point, like with Smothering Tithe, that's a little bit too much. But yeah, you draw with every token, which is exactly what I love to do. It's like Prosper, where it's not like, oh, you do this mechanic, but hey, Cascade cards from exile, and this cards from exile. And it's the same with this. It's like anything that creates a token, like Black Market Connections is a great one as well. Like Bitter Blossom. Oh, I can't. This deck is just going to be so cool. I immediately got this deck, and I'm insanely hyped for it. It's like, wow. Too bad it's not green, but then again, I already play a green token commander in Lotus, so this is perfect. I'm so hyped for this.
I actually kind of like that it's not green because Esper is kind of a unique token color, so it's giving a powerful commander to a color combination that hasn't really had that archetype supported. I should mention, I forgot to mention this earlier, as far as our tier list rankings, it's the same one we always use. S tiers, like, always play it. A tiers, good in a lot of decks. B tiers, good in some decks, a small percentage of decks. C tiers, kind of like filler. D tiers, don't play it, like, discard it to your gamble. And as far as rankings here, Phil has this one at S. Me and Krim had it at B. I had a hard time ranking the commanders from this set because I think this is one of the most interesting commanders. As far as like a 99 card, though, I think it's kind of a B. Like, you'd only play it in a token deck, probably. Like, if you're playing it in the 99, I don't think I would just run it in some random Esper deck. But if you're playing a token deck, it seems really good, really strong. And I was surprised the first time I read this card, that first ability, that when one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control to draw a card, that looks like the kind of ability that in most sets these days would be like, only do this once a turn or something, but there's no restriction on that. Like, that is, like, build around it and you can just go to town and draw so many cards with this card. So I like this one quite a bit. It seems like a really sweet build around in a cool color combination, but what do you think, Grim? Are you on the Calgar train?
So I think that Calgar is like interesting. It's a cool, as you had mentioned, cool new kind of commander in these colors. And that's sweet, but like all around, I think it's just okay. Like, it's just a solid card. It's really good in token decks. Like, if you can like pop off with like Bitter Blossom or whatever, you just play this in that deck. And the one thing I noticed a lot about this like entire tier list, essentially, in a lot of these cards, is they're so niche and specific to certain decks. So that's why I have so many things rated at a B here, and like this is just one of them where it's like you need it to like be in a token deck, or but when you get it in the token deck, it is solid, right? It has double strike. It itself can do combat quite nicely, but it doesn't really benefit from a lot of the things that the token decks like to play, like Intangible Virtue, right? Like, so like it itself will not get stronger from it, but that's not that major of a loss when you're drawing tons of cards every time you like make any kind of token. So it's a solid token commander.
Infinite mana. Like, it's pretty good in tokens. By the way, my S rating is just because I wouldn't give it anything less than an S. Don't put it in a random Esper deck. But if you have infinite mana, you do also draw your entire deck and create infinite tokens. So it's not just value, but actually a payoff, which is pretty good these days. I just like this card. Yeah, S is might be a bit too much, but I'm not going to back down. It's like giving a tireless tracker an S. I don't even care.
No, yeah, definitely a sweet one. But there's so many sweet cards in this set. I had a hard time with it, just like Krim, where I got a lot of B's on my list as well. But I think that's going to be natural with a precon because each precon has its own theme, and those themes are like pretty solid. Like, there's a demon theme precon, and that demon theme precon has a lot of cards that if you're a demon deck, they're like awesome, and I would play them in pretty much any demon deck. But if you're not playing a demon deck, what are you going to do with like a 3-drop that makes your demons cost 2 less or something? Like, it's just like outside of that, you wouldn't do anything with it. So I think that's like normal for precons, but let's keep moving forward. Krim, what's your first card for us today?
My first card is the only S card I've rated on this entire tier list. It is the Ruinous Powers. 2 black-red enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose an opponent at random. Exile the top card of that player's library. Until end of turn, you may play that card and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. When you cast a spell this way, its owner loses life equal to its mana value. Now, much like Phil had, has Calgar at S, mostly just because he loves that card. This is the card that I don't know if I'm jamming in every 5-color deck. However, it is pretty darn powerful, right? Like, getting to like punish your opponent. Like, obviously you get those turns where you hit a land and they lose nothing, and that just happens with these type of cards. But this card, I have it rated at an S because it's so fun. These kind of play styles, they make it so that the gameplay with these cards aren't like the same pattern. Like, they aren't the same thing. It's not like a guaranteed same result. Every time I'm going to hit your 5-drop hidden commander bomb or whatever. This card also, like, whenever I cast any of your spells, you'll lose life. So it is going to kill you if you play a bunch of clunky spells. And the nice thing is that it doesn't care what mana I'm using. So I love these kind of effects. I love theft effects. I love the randomness of it, like, who I'm choosing. It's fair. You don't have to like politic with me because I don't know who I'm choosing. It's whatever whatever RNG chooses. These kind of cards are just the most fun. So I have it as an S just because I love the chaos-esque like play style and the randomness, which I could understand if a lot of people didn't like it because of that. So, I landed on the birds deck. I'm gonna hit 2 drops.
I don't think most play groups have a birds player though. That's more of a us problem than a commander community problem. But but really, it draws you an extra card every turn. Like that's not bad. I'm a huge believer in enchantments that draw an extra card each turn. I love them irrationally, like Phyrexian Arena, which no one else even likes anymore. But I just love those cards. And this is a really fun one. Like it's drawing from your opponent's deck, which is probably worse than drawing from your deck because, as you said, you don't know how good the cards in your opponent's deck are going to be for your deck. But still, it's card advantage. It gets some damage in there. I gave it an A. I think Phil gave it a B. I wouldn't play this in every deck, but I do think this is... I didn't have any S's on my tier list. I didn't have anything that I thought you just auto-include in every deck. So this is, for me, in the top tier of the cards from this precon, and one of the ones that I expect to see a lot of play. Also goes up in value if you're playing stuff that cares about being cast from X. I like Prosper. I know everything's going to Prosper these days, but if you have synergies for casting from Exile, it gets even better.
Yeah, if we rate on fun, I'd probably give an A as well. But there's a lot of effects like this, like, what is this, Stolen Strategy?
Yeah.
Kind of similar. It's super fun, but...
Everyone's deck, too. You gotta pay one more mana up front,
this
but
one
Stolen
is
Strategy is everyone's
random.
deck.
It's fun.
But that one doesn't burn.
Would be...
That's
but
true.
I don't care about winning the game.
Phil doesn't want to kill people.
What better than to like steal an opponent's spell and then also burn them on the way down with it? Like,
if it would
not?
burn any target, oh my, that would be great. That's card advantage. But this one, I mean, it's cool, but it's not A to S cool. For me, I get it. It's probably super fun. And you're definitely not the villain when you cast this, what are you going to do about it? You can, you're probably going to rip a lands a lot of the time.
I ripped
Can you
your
play
ponder.
lands? Can you play lands with this?
Ooh, what is the wording?
So the wording is that
You may
Exile top card will let me play.
Yes.
Okay.
So you should be able to
So
hit
that might
lands too,
actually
which
be
is
pretty
nice.
good. At least you have
Oh
a
my
safe
god,
hit
that's
then.
perfect for me. I can't. So if I can hit my 4th mana, I'm good. Like I can just hit.
Yeah.
I just hope I hit one of your lands.
Trust your opponent's deck, to give you the lands you need.
I'm gonna run less lands in my deck now. Because this card
no,
is-
Grim, don't do that. Don't do that, please. All right, let's move on to my first card, and this is a card that I think is one of the most generically good cards from the set. Like I said, I didn't have any S tier cards, but this is a high A for me. And I think that if you're in the colors, it's probably a decent addition in a lot of decks. And that is Atalan Jackal, a 3-mana Gruul 2/2 human Tyrannid scout. I added a couple extra letters in there, I think, but it's a human scout with one of the weird Warhammer creature types. It has trample and haste, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you get to search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tapped and shuffle. So this is a repeatable 3-mana ramp spell. And I know in Commander, 2 mana is kind of the sweet spot. Everyone wants their Nature's Lores. Everyone wants their Farseeks. But I think this has a lot of upside. Because of haste, there's a pretty good chance if you can get this down on turn 3, you can probably smash into someone that doesn't have a creature yet. It doubly so if you can get it down on turn 2 off of a Llanowar Elves or Birds of Paradise or something. And if you ramp with it once, it kind of did its job. You kind of got a Farseek and some damage out of it, or a Rampant Growth and some damage out of it. But then it has the upside that if this will stick on the battlefield, in the next turn, maybe you put an equipment on it, and it has trample, and you attack someone else, and you get another land. So I think the repeatable ramp ability, combined with those 2 mechanics of trample and haste, makes this a card that I'm pretty interested in playing in any sort of beatdowny style Gruul or 3-color deck. So maybe not quite on the same level as the best ramp spells in the format, but it's getting in for damage too. Works well with equipment and all those synergies. So I really like this card quite a bit. But what do you guys think? How good is the Jackal?
I have this rated as a C.
Ooh.
I think this is pretty low on my list, right? I mean, it's just it's just a 2/2. If I'm gonna ramp, I want to guarantee the ramp, right? What if someone just has a solemn? If you top deck this any later than turn 3, then you're staring at boards where a commander can be on the board or something can just block it and not care, and then you're now just stuck with what is essentially a 3-mana haste 2/2. Right, the trample is irrelevant. If you're playing Voltron, you probably aren't in need of this card in the deck anyway. So, like, I think that this card just doesn't. I don't know. It's nice when it pops off. Like, you'll have the games where, it comes down to haste. Nobody, like, it's a table of crims and nobody's got a creature for like 100 turns. Sure. But on average, I feel like if you don't have this on turn 3, it's just going to get blocked. And I would rather just guarantee the ramp, play the Kodama's Reach, play the Cultivate, and unless you're Tomer, you're starting to run less like basics, right? People are running less basics. So, like, I don't know. The upside of this card, isn't worth the card slot to me. It's okay. Like, I don't think it's like the worst thing I've ever seen. It's just okay.
Yeah, I wish it were a 3-2. Like, I rated it as a B because I can see that if you play a deck where this card fits, like aggressive and gruel and attacking and smashing, you probably have ways to make sure your creatures go through, although you can't really do it. You really have to have it on turn 3. Being a 2-2, though, that's, especially in the eyes of Solemn Simulacrum, that's a little small. Maybe 2-3 would be nice. I mean, we have seen a lot of games where somebody plays like a Ragavan or something and it just hits every turn. Like, if you have 3 players, somebody,
but
somebody's
Ragavan's
playing
1 mana.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Ragavan's 1 mana, and the ceiling on that dude is like absurd, right?
Yeah.
Like, so like that's like for a 3 mana 2/2, and you only get I think honestly it could have just gotten a land.
Ooh.
Right? Like,
oh yeah. Oh,
that would be
interesting.
would be pretty powerful. I mean, it's a Sword of the Animist. It has a built-in Sword of the Animist, and Sword of the Animist sees quite a bit of play. I know it sees play in
Sword of the Animist.
No. Sword is on attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on attack. This has to deal the damage, right? Which is way different than a Sword of the Anime. Like,
but how often are you chump attacking with your Sword of the Animist? Yeah, all right.
But I mean, that's
different.
what I mean. You're not even doing that, right? So why would I spend 3 mana on a 2/2? I don't know. I think this card just doesn't do enough. Like, yeah, give it first strike even.
Give
I know
strike.
it may seem weird.
Double strike would be powerful.
Double strike would have been nice. Then you could have left it at basic. It's just like it doesn't do enough, right? Like it's just a 2/2.
But it does it every turn. I will show you if they add it to Moto, I will show you. Well,
somebody break it in Legacy.
The way I'm thinking of it is like, usually there's someone that's getting smashed. A lot of times it's me. I'm the one that doesn't have a creature, and someone's going to be like, oh, I got to attack you to get my treasure. I got to trigger my Ragavan. I got to just flip my Dowsing Dagger. And you end up being the punching bag for those early turns. I don't know. Maybe you play a game where like everyone has defense set up early in the game and it doesn't work out. But I feel like a lot of games of Commander, it's probably going to work out in a way that you have someone that you can attack. And really, if you get 2 triggers, I think it's worth it.
Well, that's exactly it. Like Phil just mentioned, you have to have it on 3 for that to happen, right? So any turn after that, like this card is just so. I essentially skipped a draw step in some situations. If I draw this after like turn 5, like I feel like after turn 5, somebody's gonna block, right? Like something's gonna be on the board. So
but at the same time, though,
almost.
like if you draw a Rampant Growth on after turn 5, like. That's kind of a bust too, isn't it? At least this is giving you a body that can like chump block or wear an equipment or like maybe it doesn't get you the land, but I would say it's not any worse than drawing a Rampant Growth in the late game.
So would you play a 3 mana 2/2? Because at that point, like, I don't see the body as just anything, either, right? I would rather just Kodama's Reach and net a real land and then actually have a backup land, right? Like
you do play an aggressive Gruul deck. I mean, you wouldn't play it in control, obviously, or something, but...
No. But is this even aggressive?
I mean, I'm imagining you're, like, putting equipment on it, and there's, like... If there's synergies in your deck for that, like, you're trying to attack, you're trying to put swords on things, it does interact pretty well with equipment and stuff, so maybe A is too high, maybe it should be a B card, where it's decks that can support those synergies, but I think in those decks, it seems like it's pretty decent. I don't know.
I see it as like if I'm being generous, I would say it's like a low B. It just seems like a C to me. It's not like the worst card I've ever seen in my life. It's just average, and I think it's that exact situation. And it's that if I don't draw at turn 3, it feels bad. If I'm an aggro deck, do I want this? like it just doesn't. It's not even that aggressive, right? It just has a haste, unless you're building haste tribal. That's where it pushes kind of like into B. Like I'm literally just building haste tribal. Like that's it. Then okay.
To be fair, that's the goal of these decks, is to give niche strategies some support. I mean, better than having a Commander Lotus, what's it called, Jeweled Lotus or something in here. So the cards are all Bs because they are mostly just build-arounds. I just can't put myself in the headspace of playing Gruul aggro. Maybe that's the problem.
Well, let's keep moving forward. I think you got a sweet saga for us, maybe, Phil. What do you got for its next?
I also from the Imperial deck here. Birth of the Imperium, 5 mana, same mana cost as the commander. Esper colors, 2 colorless. It's a saga, and the first chapter is create a 2/2 white Astartes warrior creature token with vigilance for each opponent you have, so probably 3. Then second chapter is each opponent sacrifices a creature. That's always great. And then third chapter, pretty big ceiling. Draw 2 cards for each opponent who controls fewer creatures than you. Like, this isn't crazy. It's just accumulating a lot of pretty clean value in the form of literal, 2 for 3 for 1s every turn. The last chapter is obviously the floor is draw nothing, but then you're pretty far behind, and the first modes help you. So I'm curious to see how it plays out. It's one of these cards that obviously it's not going to be broken at 5 mana or something, but it just seems like a cool thing to have around and accumulate pretty good value, especially if you draw a card when you create a token with the first one. Whew.
Yeah, we all gave it as well with the legend.
Yeah, we all gave it a B because I mean, it's just not crazy. It looks pretty fair, but it also looks like super clean value.
The B on it is like a low B for me.
Ooh.
This is a lot of like, this is bordering a C plus. It's very, very plain, so it's not anything flashy. But on top of that, it fits well in the system that it's meant to go in, which is like a token deck. But it is 5 mana for an enchantment. Like at least I know that, I don't know when these were worked on and if they were the same time as Dominaria, but like having read ahead or something like that could make it even better. But just like it itself, when it comes down for 5 mana, unless I care about the flavor of it, I'm talking strictly just like for the gameplay of it, it just feels okay. So it could be a C plus, but I gave it a B, like a low B, just because it is fun in a token deck. Like, it does a few things. It's removal. It's got I'm an edict fanatic, so like that's why I love me some edicts. And yeah, like the draw 2 is just a nice little kiss on the top, right? Like I dig it, but it's just
draw 6 if you really
I was on the
jackpot.
I was on the other end where I was thinking this was like more of a high B, bordering on maybe even like an A, but I do think you got to be a token deck. For me, it really comes down to those last lore counters. If you're a token deck and can flood the board with creatures, which this does help you do, but if you're drawing 4 off this, I think this card's great. If you're drawing 6 off this card's busted. If you're drawing 0 or 2, then like, okay, you made some 2/2s, which is nice, and it does help like support the later modes of the saga, but really, like, I don't know. Look at Beast Within. Like, no one's scared of a random 2/2 token. Like, that's just not that hugely impactful in Commander. The Edict is a straight up 3 for 1, but it's kind of a high variance 3 for 1. Like, if you're getting someone's Commander, or like some 6-drop, their Consecrated Sphinx, it's absurd. But if you're getting their token, it's not as exciting. So I think it really depends on, like, how wide can you go? If you're a go wide deck and you're consistently going to have the most creatures at the table, even if they're small creatures, then I think this is actually like a really powerful effect. Even as like a slow saga sorcery speed, draw 4, draw 6, that card's so good. But if you're just a generic Esper deck, or like a Crim deck that doesn't have that many creatures, then this card is like kind of sad, because your odds of drawing a bunch of cards go down a lot if you're just playing a handful of creatures.
I mean, depends. If you really go control and can keep the boards clean this way, I mean, getting 3 creatures, it's turn 8 when this triggers. Nah, don't do it. Make sure you play some creatures.
I think you gotta
could
play
like
you wrath the board. Flash in the opposition agent. Your one creature is the most at the table. You draw 6.
Draw 6 is so amazing, though. Like, without spending mana that turn. Like, you start the turn with drawing 7, basically, with your regular cards, and then
it refills your hand.
Oh my god!
It could refill your. The problem is this is where I wish I had read ahead, right? Like, maybe I could set it up to go off a little bit faster because if you're a token deck, which I think is the only deck that can play this, or some kind of go wide tribal deck in Esper. But yeah, I think you gotta prepare that the people are noticing that you've got the most creatures, and they can't just let you draw 6 on top of accruing a bunch of value, right?
The edict as well is something that's not as scary if you telegraph it in this way. So if people know, next turn is going to be an edict, they're going to play some mana dog or something. But all in all, I mean, technically, best case, it's a 3-for-1 with the first mode, then another 3-for-1 with the other one, and then a 6-for-1one. So
yeah, that's like a 14 for 1 or something. Yeah. If it all goes well, yeah.
Okay. Well, if we're doing that, then sure, right? And while we're at it, the opponent casts only one good creature, and it's their best creature.
Everyone only played their commander, and they have to edict them all the way. All right, let's keep moving on. Krim, what's next on your Warhammer 40K list?
Okay. So up next on my Warhammer list is a blue-red card. Okay, it's Gerson Starn Kelomorph. It is 1 blue-red Ward 2, and three auto tubs. Hold on, what is that?
I don't know Warhammer, but it does say 3 auto tubs.
Auto tubs, right?
I think it's auto tubs. Yeah.
I mean, there's.
Is there an S in there? Auto stubs?
I mean, I played Warhammer and I still don't know any. I mean, the cards look kind of familiar, but it's a long time ago, so I could correct you. But there is an S there.
So auto stubs. Well, clearly, as someone who's been calling things ass tarts and auto stubs, why not? Right? So obviously, I don't know Warhammer, but so the 3 auto stubs. Whenever another source you control deals exactly 1 damage to a permanent or player, Gerson Starn Kelomorph deals 2 damage to that permanent or player. So potentially, Seth, I know you tweeted about it. I think they're all the pingers. You've seen me play Metal Drone. You've seen me play those cards, right? And there's also some other things that people don't think about, like mana barbs.
Oh, yeah.
That'll make it so that you can deal 3 essentially every time you tap a land. And the nice thing here is, I believe source I control deals the damage, deals to that permanent or player. So yeah, you can totally just mana barbs. That's great.
Wait, does mana barbs not affect you?
It does, but whatever. It doesn't matter. We're here to play.
Yeah, just so you know, everybody's gonna die.
Fun.
But it's pretty. Yeah, it's such a crazy payoff for pingers. I think there was another pinger commander. I remember something that Torbran, for example, synergizes with it, but this is almost on the nose. All this stuff that taps for 1 or Cavalcade of Calamity is pretty sick with it as well.
Yep.
It's such a cool, a bit on the nose with the build around, but it's efficiently costed. War 2 will pay off pretty good in the early game. Just seems
how many Chandras just deal 1, right? You know what I mean? All the bad Chandras are. Does this commander make all the bad Chandras good? I mean, maybe.
Also, the pestilence effects. What's the red one that damages
Pyromania?
That's just
although
brutal. It will die.
That's probably going to wrath it out. You'd have to make it indestructible or something. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have morph though, so I gave it a D. With a name like that, it really should have had morph. But
or megamorph, anything at all.
Yeah, some form of morph. Really though, I really like the idea of this as a pinger commander because I think going into blue's a big deal. Red, yes, has a lot of pingers, and it works well with Torbrand, very similar to Torbrand in that scenario. The upside of blue, though, is you get way more untapping shenanigans. That's what blue, I think, offers, is it's way easier to, mass untap all your creatures in blue. There's a lot of effects like that. So I think it's actually a pretty cool build around. Also, Grape Shot. Like, you can up the damage on things like that. If you want to go, like, Storm or, like, your Niv that pings, you can go, like, Spellslingery Storm-style stuff that's repeatedly dealing 1 damage. So there's a bunch of ways you can build around it.
That's so BM. Like, you're already storming, yet you need Grape Shot to do more damage.
You gotta rub it in.
I didn't even think of the Spellslinger plan. I was just thinking of permanents that do it. But yeah, technically you can play this as your Storm Commander. I think Niv is probably better, although it works pretty great with Niv. It's just
Spikefield Hazard is a house in your deck.
Let's go.
It becomes a lightning bolt. We did it.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh. No, like, this card has a lot of synergies with a lot of things. And what's the name of the blue pinger? It's an old one.
Yeah, the OG
Prodigal
There.
Sorcerer.
Yeah.
I want to say Tim.
You get to
It had a
play the
nickname.
blue
Tim.
pinger.
I think it's Tim is the nickname from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Yeah.
Perfect then. Yeah, see, like, there's a lot throughout Magic, lots of things in these, like the untap in blue, correct? And then you have all the pingers, and, you know, Torbaran didn't work with the one Eldrazi pinger that had Devoid. So this, though, this one does.
There's also, like, I just played a standard deck with, like, Thermo Alchemist. There's, like, the bad or maybe better Thermo Alchemist from the new Innistrad set that you don't have to tap. It's just when you cast a non-creature spell, it pings for 1. They're out. The more we talk about this, the more I'm starting to think this is a really flexible commander that you can actually build around in a bunch of different ways. Like, it's not just like so much shoehorned into being this one play style. There's a lot of directions you can go with it.
Roiling Vortex is all I'm thinking about right now. I'm just trying to do that every turn and lock out life gain.
Oh,
Gotta beat the one Soul Sisters player, you know, right, Seth?
Yeah, I'm never beating that card. Too good. All right, let's move on. Next up, we have a card featuring what I think is the best mechanic from the entire set, which is the Squad mechanic. And the card showing it off is Space Marine Devastator. So it's a Hill Giant, a 4-mana 3/3. It's in white. It's a Asteres Warrior. It has Squad 2. And what Squad 2 means is when you cast this spell, you can pay 2 mana any number of times, and you get a token copy of the creature for as many times as you pay. It's like multi-kicker for creatures, almost. And then when it ETBs, you get to blow up 1 artifact or enchantment. So what this is, on its face, 4-mana 3/3, ETB will blow up an enchantment. Not great, like a little bit more expensive Rex Age, essentially. Although the Warrior Tribe could be relevant in some decks. But where this really shines is in the late game. If you spend 6 mana, you're going to get 2 3/3s and blow up 2 artifacts. If you spend 8 mana, you blow up 3 artifacts, get 3 3/3s. So it actually scales pretty efficiently. Like, being able to pay 2 for an upgraded Rex Age any number of times when you cast that is actually, I think, a really powerful effect. I think we rated this more or less Bs across the board. Actually, I might have had it at an A. I'm trying to see where it is on our list.
I've got it at B, and you guys have it at A.
So I think this is a card that is good in a generic sense. Like, 3 mana, blow up an artifact with the late game flexibility, but it goes up even more if you have token synergies. Because or 4 mana, I'm sorry. 4 mana, blow up an artifact. I think that's good enough in a generic sense. But then, if you have token synergies, I think this is an all-star. If you have your Anointed Processions or Doubling Seasons or anything like that, you're going to get twice as many of the token copies, and then this card just, like, completely goes off. So, I like this card a lot. I expect to jam it in a lot of white decks, warrior decks, token decks. What do you guys think about it?
I like Seth. I'm pretty high on this card. I think this card's pretty sweet. It leaves an actual, like, you know, Rex Age is, unless it's, like, you know, you care about the elf part, like its body, it's just a 2/1. This is a 3/3, which adds up when you can make tons of copies of this. And it being able to blow up an artifact or enchantment, one of the most, like, prominent, and anything bad happening in Commander can usually result around that, right? Like an enchantment or artifact. And the fact that this scales into the late game, I love that. And much like I had mentioned, and like, you know, Seth had mentioned, you know, it makes tokens. Why wouldn't you want that? You just get to build an army, blow up some things, and it's like a real army. Like, they are an actual threat at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it a B because, I mean, first of all, I love the Squad mechanic. That's just exactly what I'm looking for. But 4 mana, I just don't know how many times you're going to cast it for 8 mana, which is where it really, really has some impact. I mean, you could just play a Bane of Progress. It's not white, but... And it will destroy your own Doubling Season, I know. But I'm not sure how many times you're going to cast it for I think 6 is probably the default, right? Copied once. Yeah, it's like 2 3/3s and destroyed 2 enchantments or artifacts. Yeah, I'm a bit conservative with the B here. Maybe because I usually play green and have more options.
I mean,
yeah, it's a B plus for me, but I don't think it's like that devastating. But it is a pretty cool card. And great. The squad mechanic is amazing. I really hope they bring something like this in actual official sets. Because I want to play it online.
Isn't squad literally just kicker though? Like I know that the meme is that everything is kicker, but like this is actually just kicker, right?
It really is just multi-kicker.
Yeah, this is just multi-kicker, legitimately. But I think that it's not the like how often. I think it's the thing that makes me love it so much is that I could take it for more than I need to, right? Like that's just how I love my cards. I love the versatility, and it's not just like it's a 3/3 and blows up multiple enchantments and artifacts. It is multiple 3/3s.
And I think it's really important to point out that it's white, which is kind of the unique part. We've been comparing it a lot to like Rexage and Bane of Progress. White, even though you associate it with like disenchants, it actually doesn't have good creatures that ETB blow up artifacts and enchantments. There's like Core Sanctifiers, which is a 3-mana 2/3, and you can kick it for 1, and you can blow up an artifact or enchantment. There's Rambunctious Mutt, which is a 5-mana 3/4, and then there's like Cavalier of Dawn, which it kind of beast withins with its ETB, but they just really don't have Rexages and so forth. So I think especially for a white card, a 4-mana 3/3 with the upside of the flexibility of squad, if you're not in green and don't have access to the Rexages and maybe like more efficient versions of this, I think that's where this is really going to shine. Just because as far as white is concerned, this is kind of above the curve for doing this. I'm amazed that there's not more of these creatures in white. I thought there would have been, but I actually just like checked it on Scryfall and they really just don't get that effect for some reason on creatures.
Yeah, that might be a pretty good point. Like, I'm going to play the card because I will own it, and I might be way more impressed with it than I think right now. It's just that if you compare it to green, it gets a little boring, like Purification Sage or whatever, the better Rexage. Like, these, it's hard to compare them to this, but maybe it's better in practice that I still think it's good, but we'll see. 4 mana is actually, if you blow up a Great Henge and a Soul Ring with it, we'll see. Maybe I change my grade, even though it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's pretty close to an A. Just seems a little safe for 4 mana. 3 mana would be brutal.
When you see 4 mana, it does jump out. It's a hill giant. That's not like traditionally the best stat. So I can see why you'd initially be skeptical of it. But I don't know. I really rank squad highly. I think the flexibility of being like, okay on turn 4, but then you get in the late game and you have like 10 mana and you top deck them, you're like, oh, I just get to make 5 of these or like some ridiculous number and like blow up all the artifacts. Seems sweet, but we got to keep moving on. We got a lot more cards to talk about. Phil, I think you're up. Give us something good.
Yeah. So not really something good, but something interesting to consider. I got Sister Repentia. It's a 5 mana 5/1, pretty competitive stats here. And it has Martyrdom. When Sister Repentia dies, you gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. And here's the interesting part about the card. It's a creature with Miracle. So if you draw it as your first card you draw in a turn, you can cast it for its Miracle cost. And while this is not great still, I think we all have it at C.
There's actually a couple D's in there, I think.
Actually, you guys have it at D, and I got it at C. Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, it's actually not good, but it's this one with, I think, 2 or 3 more is the first creatures with Miracle. And like if you have, I think Volrav's Stronghold is a land that can put creatures on top of your deck. Like putting creatures on top of your deck is way easier than other spells. It's still, you pay 2 mana Miracle, draw 2, gain 2, and then pay 2 to put it on top. It's still super grindy. I just want to mention that, hey, there's creatures with Miracle now, which opens up for some cool stuff. It's interesting. It's not really powerful.
It's or Zavi Cloud Blazer.
Yeah,
like
it really-
Cloudblazer
it really
is
is.
a good comparison. And if you could play a Cloudblazer for 2 mana,
It doesn't work with Panharmonicon though.
Yeah, no, that's
Which
the
is
problem.
the main goal.
Karlov.
It does work with, that was what I was going to say. The deck I would play this in would be Tisa Karlov for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I hadn't really thought through the, like, get it back with a land, put it on top of your deck, do it again, sack it to a Phyrexian Altar or something from value, get some mana. If you're doing it for 2 mana, I think it's actually a really good card. I think if it's just
5
in
is
your deck
pretty bad.
randomly, then it's like a little bit hard to control if you're going to be miracling it the first time. But if you're actually like building your deck to repeatedly cast this for 2 mana, then that seems like legit engine. Like a 2 mana draw, 2 gain 2 on repeat. I can get behind that. So I like where you're going with it. I still think 5 mana, it's like kind of sad.
5
like
mana is horrible.
5 mana, 5/1. It's so bad.
I think of every other scenario, and it's just like, wow, this is really bad.
It's not going to work most of the time. I'm not going to sugarcoat it here, but it will feel pretty clever if you get it into a loop and still do cool stuff. If you spend your whole turn setting this up, it's still not good. But yeah. Seeing creatures with Miracle, I thought there should be something there. Wow, 5 mana, 5/1. If it had Flash, ooh, my, that would be... Otherwise, why is it a 5/1, I guess, to jump block? Could use a little Flash there.
Could it be worth it in other aristocrat decks if you're in the colors? Like, is there any way, like, do you think you can miracle consistently enough? I think that's the question. Like, if you're just like playing a bunch of sacrifice stuff and Blood Artists, 2 mana, I would love it. Like, I think it would be like an aristocrat staple if you always could cast it for 2 mana. But I'm having a hard time imagining, like, how often that's going to happen. Like, is it going to be too inconsistent? And then you're like, oh my god, I got to cast this for 5. Like, do I even bother at that point?
If you have a commander that puts a creature, like, from your graveyard on top of your library or something, I don't know if there is anything like this. But
not to. Oh, from the graveyard. From the
Runo,
from any,
wrong
like,
colors,
pretty much,
but I think Runo does.
Yeah, graveyard would be the best, though. Then I'd say it's pretty good if you can just pull it off. Otherwise, it's going to be a 5 mana,
So you're
5/1 most of the time.
she's a build around. Sister Repentia
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
like, even after a full build around, you're
It's
only
still not
drawing
good.
2.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep moving forward. Krim, I think you got a card that we actually all rank pretty highly. What might it be?
This card is almost an S for me, as long as you're playing white. It's Vexilus Praetor. And like the card itself is a 3 and white Custodes Warrior. It's got Flash and Vigilance, and it's got Aegis of the Empire or Emperor. Commanders you control have protection from everything, and it's a 3/4. This is really good, right? Like I think this is like, as long as you're playing white, oftentimes this will like kind of turns your commander into like a little mini Progenitus, right? And I love that. And I also was thinking about it because as having an Amanatu deck, this means that people can attack my Amanatu and I just don't lose loyalty. It never takes any damage. So I am a huge fan of this card in my Amanatu deck. I'm a huge fan of this if you're in any kind of white-based deck that like, and I feel like most care about their commander because you're clearly putting this in there. So yeah, like I don't know, it's very simple, but it's great. It itself is a solid body. It is a 3/4 vigilant.
Yeah, I think this is the best version of the fact. It reminds me of Bastion Protector, which is a 3-drop human soldier, 3/3 that says commanders you control have +2/+2 and indestructible. But this has Flash, and it gives protection from everything, which is way better than indestructible because you're not getting exiled or whatever. So I think like if your goal is to protect your commander, this is just an amazing way to actually do that. So I think it's a very, very good option, especially for decks that really care about their commander. I think that's why I gave it an A. Like, any deck that really cares about keeping their commander on the battlefield and is in these colors, I would consider adding this to my deck. If I'm playing one of my Atagatog decks where I'm just like, hey, I'm 5-color stuff, I needed a commander, and I don't really care like if my commander lives or dies, then this obviously loses a decent amount of value if you just don't really care that much about your commander. But yeah, what do you think, Phil?
It's just super solid. I usually don't play these cards, but the Flash, and it's a 4 mana 3/4 vigilance, which could ambush something. Like the effect is passive anyways. Like if your opponent swings in and you can make some profitable blocks and then you cast your commander and then it has protection from everything. So I wouldn't, just reserve it for the moment where like a blasphemous act would hit your commander or something. But just run it out there and then play your commander. And as long as it resolves, it should stay on the battlefield. I mean, Wrath of God effects still kill it. Like, sometimes indestructible is better, but it's just super solid. It's a bit boring. It's like super good at what it does. But it's definitely pretty good at what it does. We all gave it an A, I think.
I think it's A across the board.
Commander, yeah.
All right, let's keep moving on. We all know that's a really good one. And I think our next card is another one that's very similar that we all ranked incredibly highly. And that card is Tomb Fortress, which might be my pick for best card of the set. I'm addicted to lands that offer extra value, and that's what Tomb Fortress is. It's Tomb Fortress. It's a land that comes into play tapped. It adds a black mana, or you can pay 5, including a bunch of black mana, tap it and exile it, and you mill 4 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Can only do it as a sorcery. So this is a land that has the downside of coming into play tapped, but the upside of in the late game, it's going to be able to reanimate anything in your graveyard, which is a really powerful effect. So I think the best comparison for this card is Port of Carfell, it's called. It was a uncommon
Kaldheim?
land from a few
Kaldheim.
sets ago. Is it Kaldheim?
It's Kaldheim.
Yeah. Okay, from Kaldheim, which is a blue land, but then you can pay some mixture of Dimir mana and 6 mana and sacrifice it to mill and reanimate something. I think what really makes the new version, Tomb Fortress, so much better is it's mono black. And one thing I've noticed in my commander decks is if I'm playing 3 colors, even 2 colors these days, there's a ton of lands that are competing for slots in my deck, and I have a hard time finding room for everything I want to play. But in mono black, I have plenty of room that I think I would run this in basically any mono black deck. I guess maybe there's some exception where I have like no creatures somehow or very few creatures, but in general, like I think this is just a mono black staple that any mono black deck, I'm just going to jam this because I'm usually playing, 15 swamps or 20 swamps, and this is a way I can turn one of those relatively useless and boring swamps into a land that can potentially generate value in the late game. So I love this card. I think this card is great in mono black in specific. Outside of mono black, I'm sure there's some 2-color decks that could take advantage of it if you're really Reanimator themed, but I get a little more skeptical outside of mono black. But in mono black, I absolutely love this card. But what do you guys think about Tomb Fortress?
I mean, I love the land previously mentioned, the port land, and I think this land is amazing as well. Like it's triple black to activate, but Urborg. Any deck that usually plays black has some form of an Urborg, right? Or like somewhere in the list, unless of course like for budget regions or whatever, you just don't own one. But like on average, any deck of mine that has black, I play Urborg. Even 3 colors, I think I can. The only way I wouldn't play it is if I didn't have creatures. So I think anything 3 or less colors, this is a pretty darn good land. Obviously, in 3 colors, I'd probably be a little bit more focused on reanimating. But like 1 and 2 colors, I just feel like this is just a throw-in, right? If you're playing black, obviously mono black, it's an auto include. So yeah, like this is a very strong land.
Yeah, I was a bit shocked when I saw this one because this one is really an auto-include in mono black. Nothing else. Too bad it exiles itself. The other ones sacrifice themselves, I think, but mono black doesn't really recur lands anyways.
Yeah.
It's just very good if you don't plan on having just untapped lands. Like, yeah, it's just so much value for coming into play tapped. I wouldn't. The thing that Seth said. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Good.
I really don't find room for fun lands in my 3+ color decks anymore. So probably wouldn't play it in like maybe in Sultai if I have a mill theme, but I wouldn't play it in like any Grixis deck or something, unless it's Grixis Demons, which we would probably come to later. Even that, it's just. Oh, it's so good. I really hope this card gets reprinted or something because, why would you not play this if you play mono black? If you play just 1 creature, why not? It's so good.
I feel like Wizards did a really good job with this set, not making Fierce Guardianships and Dockside Extortionists. If you see our list, look at the full tier list, you'll see it's a lot of Bs. There's a lot of cards that are really good in certain decks, but not really good outside of those decks. And even the best cards that we've been talking about, like this card and the last one, the Velix Praetor or whatever, I think those are very strong cards. But even then, like Tomb Fortress is more of like a mono black staple, where Dockside is like, if you have red mana, play me and I'm going to be busted. Like, I don't even care. 1 color, 4 color, like, it's going to be good. So I feel like Wizards did a pretty good job of making sure the power was focused on specific archetypes, which is what I want to see out of decks like this. Although I would say I think Tomb Fortress, if I had to pick one card from the set that I think is just like the closest to being a generic staple, this might actually be the one. This might be my pick for just like overall number one. This was the card I came closest to giving an S tier ranking to. Although when I thought about it, I was like, I'm not going to jam this in a 5 color deck. Like, so is it really S tier? Like, I wouldn't jam it there, but I think this card is legitimately very, very good. So
yeah,
anyway,
we all have it rated at an A, by the way.
A's across the board. Everyone likes this one, but let's keep moving forward. Phil, do you got another card for us?
Yes, I'm gonna pick one of Thomas' cards here.
Tomer made an absolutely huge list before.
Let me see
before he left.
I can.
Oh, you can take that one, Phil. I don't think I'm gonna get to that one, so
okay,
snag it.
So Thomas super high on that card, and I am pretty sure it's gonna be super solid as well. It's Necron Deathmark. It's a 5 mana, 2 black, 3 colorless artifact creature Necron 5/3 flash. When Necron Deathmark enters the battlefield, destroy up to 1 target creature and target player mills 3 cards. Not super exciting or complicated. It's just a flash Chupacabra. And here's the important part, the flash. It's a 5/3 flash, so it usually ambushes something anyways, and then it enters the battlefield and destroys something, and you mill 3 cards because it's not too hard to reanimate this, and something you milled. It's just a lot of super clean value, stapled on a 5-drop, which is kind of pricey, but it will get its value out of it. Yeah, like destroy something, mill, ambush something. Yeah, all this together. It's an artifact creature which is upsides if you want to reanimate it. Yeah, it's just a super clean card. And would I play it over Chupacabra? Probably. Over Noxious Gearhulk? Probably. Maybe I would switch back to the Gearhulk later, because the life gain in the bigger body is relevant. But Flash is super flexible,
it's
so
only
I think
5/4.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
you're right. Maybe it's
I think this card is probably going to replace Gearhulk, right?
yeah.
For
Maybe
me,
the Flash is just super good. Yeah,
I think it's the
Flash,
best.
1 mana cheaper. It being an artifact, like all of us have this rated at an A because it is just a flat out good card. Nothing wild, nothing super. Well, it is flashy, but like nothing too flashy. It doesn't do anything like that is out of Black's wheelhouse, but it does exactly what you need it to do. And it is an artifact creature, and those are 2 types that are usually very relevant when it comes to like reanimating, tutoring. I don't know. There's lots of things that Black can do. And yeah, like this whole deck, the whole precon it's in is all about milling. So if you're a reanimator deck, this is perfect for you. It's removal and a self mill. Or when you're sitting at a table with Seth and he's going to draw a ton of cards, if you really wanted to, you could actually hit the mill plan.
Mill him out. I think this is the best Necrotol we've ever seen. Like, I was looking through all the similar versions of it, and I'm pretty sure this is the only one that actually has Flash, which is just such an immense upside. Because like Phil mentioned, it is often going to be a 2-for-1. You flash it in, you kill something, you black something else, you kill both of them. Plus, as Krim mentioned, you can mill yourself. I really like that it's split up, so you can destroy someone else's creature, self-mill, you're in black, you're probably going to be using your graveyard anyway. I love my Yarok decks and Panharmonicon decks, like those ETB triggers, doubling them up. That's some of my favorite thing to do in Magic. So I think this is just like an all-star there. I definitely plan on replacing my Chupacabras or Gearhulks or really any of the other versions of that effect with this card. I think it's the best one. So I think this is another one that definitely deserves its A rating. And again, like, once you get to 5 colors, it becomes a little sketchy. But if you got black mana and you care about your graveyard a little bit, I feel like this is very deserving of a removal slot in a lot of different decks. Krim, what do you think about this? You're the draw go player. Like, how stapley is this for the play style that you like to play, where you're leaving up your mana every turn? Like, the flash seems like a huge deal for that style of deck.
In my Drago decks, I love this, right? Just because it goes in every deck, like that could probably play black. It's interaction, and it's instant speed interaction, so you know I'm a sucker for that. And on top of that, it being like, I don't see this as anything more than just 2 removal spells. I'm hoping to trade this in with something and kill something, and then now, slowly but surely, those Agadeem's Awakenings are making more sense in my control decks. Because now I'm not just reanimating opposition agent. I've now got a 5-drop to bring back. But like, in all seriousness, it is very good. It is very good at what it does. And the flash is all the difference. Because the information that you have versus the information that your opponent has, this could lead to some really bad attacks. Whereas like the Gear Hulk is your turn. You spent your whole turn to do it. Yeah. And this isn't just good in Draw Go. Just having maximum information in any deck and then getting a threat out of it, that's amazing. This card's amazing.
Only downside is it doesn't have a useful creature type, or like traditionally useful creature type. It has a Warhammer creature type, so you don't get any tribal support or anything. But really, I think you can jam this in any deck, and you're probably going to be pretty happy with it. There's really it's good enough that it doesn't really matter what you're doing. So
it's an artifact. That's kind of like a tribe, right? I mean, what would a construct be better? I mean, the relevant part is the artifact creature there.
I guess that's true. So, that gives you more reanimation options, more tutor options. There's a lot of additional synergies you get from being an artifact creature. So, all right, let's move on to Krim. Krim, what's up next?
So, I see that it's not even on the tier list. I just realized that now. Like, but
yeah, almost threw this on there.
Live tier list ranking. Let's do it.
We're gonna do it right now. So
D.
it's Kalidus Assassin. Wow, rank D already? Wow.
I don't even know what it is, but
so Kalidus Assassin is 4 blue-black, human shapeshifter assassin, flash, and as polymorphine. You may have Kalidus Assassin enter the battlefield tapped as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it has, when the creature enters the battlefield, destroy up to 1 other target creature with the same name as that creature. So, evil twin, but with an ETB, right?
It has flash as well. I didn't notice this. That's actually pretty
Flash was just highly praised, right? So, oftentimes it's great now that you're getting more like flashy Necrotal effects. This means now your removal actually has a threat lined up with it. I can remove a creature, swing into your Planeswalker. I can remove a creature, your blocker, get into face, right? Like these are real, like the fact that this is flash is huge. And the Kalidus Assassin part means that I also could just get the best creature that you have. Like being able to copy your Bane of Progress, right? And then blow up your Bane of Progress. And not on my turn, because it's on ETB. And as Seth has mentioned, there's tons of things that play well with ETBs. This can go well in a Yarok deck. This can, it goes in numerous other decks, right?
It doesn't really work with Yarok, though, right? It has only one same name. Yeah, but it has to have the same name,
right.
so it can
but then you can kill the thing and then you flicker it, right? And then you blink it, right? Like,
I mean, if you flicker it, but Yarok or Panamorgan doesn't work.
It'll trigger like twice, I guess, and on the same target, but whatever, right? Like that's fine. More so like the ETB part is that you get to just flicker it, and then you get to like bounce it up and like off the board and do it numerous times, and then it kills the same thing. But the main thing is you get a clone at instant speed, and that could be really good. So being able to copy like a Bane of Progress is like kind of good.
I
love every clone.
I guess it's like, hold on, it just enters the battlefield, I believe, and kills something, which is all I care about, right? And it enters the battlefield.
It clones. It's great.
And it clones.
Garuda, for example.
ETB clone.
Did we ever see a Flash clone? Was there?
So we do have a few Flash clones. Sakashima's Protege, Stunt Double, Mocking Doppelganger, and we just got Activated Sleeper, which is a 3-mana one, but it has to hit a thing that went to the graveyard this turn, but it's a 3-mana Flash clone. I would say with this card, my only skepticism is 6 mana is like a little more than I want to pay for a clone. I like the flash upside. I like the clone aspect. I like that it's also a removal spell. You're already with a clone like incentivized to copy the best creature on the battlefield. So this is like, I get a copy of the best creature, you lose a copy of the best creature most of the time, which is nice. And I do like that it's up to one other creature. So at first when I read it, I was like, oh no, what if I want to just like copy my thing? But you can just copy your own thing and choose not to blow it up. You don't have to blow up something with the same name. So I would give this, I know we didn't rank it before, I guess I would give it a B. It seems good for clone decks. It seems like a fine removal spell for, I don't know, assassin decks or something. It is a human shapeshifter assassin, so it has a couple of relevant creature types. So I think there's homes for it, but it's 6 mana. It's hard for me to think of it as like an auto-include in most decks. But if you care about cloning or like care about its creature types, it is a super cool card.
Yeah, I'd rate it at a B. I like it a lot because of the decks that I play. I think it's great there. But like it's a B. I'm not auto including in everything, but it is nice that it just comes down, kills the best creature.
Yeah, it has crazy blowout potential. I think if you just end of turn copy something crazy like their commander or something, and then you have a full turn of playing with this card, and they don't have it anymore. Like that seems 6 mana is a lot, but if you can successfully get played in a good position, it's gonna be very good. Still 6 mana, so it's a B.
So let's do one more round, but I want to do this round with a twist. This is your chance to complain about something from these awesome decks. So we've talked about a lot of cards that we ranked highly. We talked about how awesome these decks are. I really do think these are the best commander precons that Wizards maybe has ever made, or at least on the short list of best commander precons. But even really good precons, they can't be perfect. So this is your chance to pick something that you want to complain about. And I will kick us off because this card, I had to bring it up because this is one of the face commanders from the set. It's a mythic, and I think it's just like, it's mind-blowingly bad. I don't know the Warhammer lore, but that is Sazerac the Silent King. It is a 4-mana, triple black, 3/4 flying, legendary artifact Necron creature. And it says, whenever it attacks, mill 3 cards, and then you may put an artifact creature card or vehicle card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. This card's so bad. Like, it feels like this was a card they thought was like, maybe it was too good and they changed it late in design or something. As I was reading this card, I assume that you're going to put the creature onto the battlefield. There's so many hoops you got to jump through. Like, you have to play this. It doesn't have haste or anything, so you got to untap with it. Then you got to attack with it. And when you attack with it, you mill 3 cards. And then you have to hit a very specific subset of cards. Not any artifact. It has to either be an artifact creature or a vehicle. You only mill 3. So a lot of times you're going to whiff on that mill and not hit any of those card types, most likely. And then your reward is you get a Raised Dead, like a 1 mana spell. Like, that's your reward, is like a semi-random Raised Dead. So to me, I don't know Warhammer lore. Maybe this is like some super iconic character, but for me, this is just like the biggest flop from the set. And like, some of the backup commanders in this same deck are really interesting, and the deck itself is really strong. But this card, I don't know why I would ever play this in literally any deck. I gave it a D. I don't know what everyone else gave it, but I had to get it out there and just complain a tiny bit about how bad this card is.
I think the card is like definitely, I don't know why. I don't know what was happening. It might have been like the 4 a.m., but like I had it originally at a B for some reason when it doesn't make any sense. But like I actually think it's like not that bad. It's just like it's like a C, but like a low C. It's not great. It's not great for your commander, for it to be your face commander. It does not do enough. Like, I think the reason why is because I think I read it as artifact, creature, or
that would
or
at least
vehicle card.
Yeah.
That would at least reduce the odds of whiffing if it was artifact, creature, or vehicle rather than artifact, creature, or vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah, there is that small, tiny, like, I was like assuming there was a comma there, so that makes it much worse. And the fact that, you know what? You're right. Hold on. I actually am moving it to an F, which is lower than a D, because I didn't know that it put it into my hand. I read it again, and it's like, hold on.
We just all assume this did good things, but no, it does the worst. Every option, it does the worst version of it. Yeah.
In real time, you just
like
watched. Yeah, in real time, you just watched that card fall off for me. Like, oh my god, it doesn't put it into play. Why?
Back to your hand. That'd be put a vehicle into play for free, Crim. Whatever it would be too.
That's so. What are you worried about in mono black vehicles? This is really bad. Actually, wow, this is terrible.
And this is the face commander. This is the one on the front of the box. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I was super underwhelmed when I read it. It mills only 3 cards. You have to attack with it. It doesn't have haste. It does have flying, I guess. It's only 4 mana. But no. This just seems like so much work for so little. You could just draw a card and it's probably better.
Yeah, it probably is better just to straight up draw a single card.
It's so weird because
I just wouldn't cast my commander.
Yeah, I think the secondary commanders in these are always the better ones. Like the Manos Kaga is not the face commander as well. And I think the Tyrannid commander with the Chaos one as well. The secondary commanders are cooler in my opinion with all of these. But the... What is it called? I shouldn't have tried this. The Silent King. It's the worst of them all. It just seems so boring.
Yeah, because, this is the same deck with the Infinite Commander, too, which is, like, one of the most hyped commanders from the set that, like, just gets all the activated abilities of all artifacts. Like, that's a legit epic card. Like, I don't know if it's going to be fun to play with. It seems like it kind of just, like, does one thing over and over again. Yep. But it's a really, like... kind of jaw-dropping style. Wow, I can't believe they made that. And then the face commander's just like, yeah, maybe I'll give you something back to your hand. Like, attack with me. Like, you can do it. So, I don't know. That was my complaint. But, Phil, you got a complaint for us? Is there any card or anything you dislike from the set?
Yeah. So, I got the Imperial... What is it called? Forces of the Imperium deck. And... it is quite some time ago since I played Warhammer, and I played Eldar and Nurgle, so Chaos. But I do remember as a child that Titans were these crazy, expensive, and huge things, and they were like invincible, especially for somebody like me who didn't know what they did, so I just assumed they would just win the game by themselves. And there is a Titan in the deck, and I'm not sure if that's one of the huge Titans you saw in the Codices, although it looks pretty huge, but it's a 7 mana 10/10 with protection from mana value 3 or less. And when it attacks, it deals 5 to each opponent with crew 4. Cool. I guess it doesn't get blown up by Rex Sage, but that is so underwhelming for 7 mana on a vehicle. I mean, what is the vehicle that torments me in Historic? The one with Greasefang? Parhelion.
Parhelion, yeah.
Is that 8 or 7 mana?
8 mana, but it makes like a million angels when it attacks, and it does all this stuff. Yeah, and it's still only played to cheat in the play.
And this one is just, I mean, even if you cheat the Reaver Titan into play, it's sure, I don't care. Like, what are you going to do with this? I mean, at least it's in the same deck as the 4-drop that destroys an enchantment or artifact, so the opponent will likely not blow it away unless you play the mirror match. And in regular Commander, this is just, I don't know. This seems so underwhelming, especially for a Titan, which had such a huge, like, as a child, I always imagined these were insane. Doesn't look too insane in Magic.
It's funny. I feel like that's something that has been a repeated issue with crossover products, that sometimes these, like, creatures that are supposed to be really epic don't come across quite as epic. I remember this being a criticism of the first D&D set with the Tarisk or whatever, where like the green mythic, and everyone was like, this is like it was like the Emrakul of D&D or something, just like the most like crazy, ridiculous creature. And then we saw the card, everyone was kind of like, oh, like that's, I don't know, that doesn't meet my expectations. So I don't know if that's something they can improve on in the future with these crossover products. I don't know how you can't really outdo Emrakul in a Warhammer 40k commander deck or something, but maybe they need to figure out a way to make the epic big things feel a little bit more epic, because this is the second time that I've like kind of heard that same feedback about
the whole set
crossover
of
products.
Was like that. They said, oh, huge monsters, yeah, you can mutate like 4/4s on top of each other, but there's still 4/4s.
Oh, yeah.
That made no sense.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
Although mutate was a sweet mechanic, even though, you're right, it didn't feel very monstrous and epic, so.
It should have added the stat of what mutated on.
All right, Krem, what's your complaint for us?
I'm going to clear my throat for this one. So, as, you know, we play Magic, you know, and whatnot over time, I think we have noticed there's been a constant return of certain types of lands. And I'm going to go over why do we keep getting these terrible snarls and temples, like Foreboding Ruins, Game Trail, Choked Estuary. Why do these keep getting added into the commander decks? Why do we keep getting temples? Like put Prairie Stream, that's fine. Sunken Hollow, that's great. Why do we have the temples and the really, really bad snarls? Why couldn't they just
Why the worst?
Just put a Watery Grave, put one of the Battle Bond lands, right? Like, come on,
yes,
right? Like what? Why do we keep getting these terrible lands?
Yeah, Shocklands, I guess. But why the commander lands? Aren't they?
In your commander precon?
They were like defaults for pre-constructed decks until I found out they're not, and it's always snarls and temples. I sometimes like a temple, but a snarl, no way. This is... Oh, no.
And they do the same with every single precon, every single time. So that means, like, if you bought the last set of precons, you probably already have your snarls and your temples. So, like, future precons, like, kind of lose value to you if you're someone who buys the precons a lot, because it's just like, oh, these same 3 land cycles that we reprint every single commander precon. I'd love to see more diversity. I don't expect them to put fetches and shocks in there, but you got to be able to break it up a little more than this. Like, you can't just snarl us every single precon.
Actually, they can, and they have been. Like, and like, it's like funny that it's like the Warhammer precon, right? Like this, if there is a significant IP, right? Like you want to do it for a Universes Beyond, that's a big enough reason to, for the love of God, one time just not put snarls and temples into a deck. Like, please, just the Battle Bond lands would work. Like the names of some of the Battle Bonds lands work. Even like work with like the theme. Like they're all there. You could put the Commander Legends Battle Bond, whatever, that whole cycle into these decks. Like. Come on, right? Like there's just no way, and we just keep getting these terrible lands. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's such a good point that you don't really add to your collection if you get precons. Like you just stack up on snarls, and best case you play none of them. That's awful.
Yeah, that's been a long criticism of Commander precons, and I do love these precons. I think they're legitimately great, but the mana still leaves a bit to be desired, both in the lands that they chose, once again, and they still got like 25 basics or something in the 3-color decks. I think you could have used more dual lands in an absolute sense, too. Like, 25 basics is, that's a lot if you're playing a full-on 3-color deck, so hopefully that's something we see more improvement in the future, although... I don't know. I guess they added so many new cards to these decks that maybe that's like the excuse that we spent all of our time like working on the new cards. So we just had to snarl you one more time.
So we couldn't add a land that would, like that's already been designed and existed. Like, you know, like we couldn't replace one of the 50. I now have more snarls and temples than I do basics in my household. I'm pretty sure.
I feel like this mana base was just copy and pasted from like the last Grixis deck and the last Teamer deck. We're gonna have to check that. It might be the same exact mana base as last go around. Yeah. Anyway, I think those are all the cards we're going to talk about today. Any other thoughts on the Warhammer precons on the way out to the door today? Again, look up our tier list. You can see all the cards that we rank. They look awesome. What do you guys think? Any closing thoughts on Warhammer 40k Commander?
I love it.
I'm excited. Yeah. I don't know anything about Warhammer, but they did a good job in making it appeal to me. Some things that I guess I wish moving forward is that, like, I mean, this is a personal thing, and is that, like, I thought the artwork would be like wilder. I don't know why. Like just like because again, I've mentioned this before. It's not Universes Next Door. It's Universes Beyond. Like I thought it'd be just way more different. And I know that this is like along the lines of what is Warhammer art, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it'd be like I think of Universes Beyond, and I kind of associate it with like how like Secret Lair does like a bunch of wild arts for like the Serum Visions and all of that stuff. And like this is nitpicking. It's not like a real reason that like I think like obviously I bought these decks. Like I just think that like the art is nice, but it just is Magic, right? Which is fine. Like that's totally fine.
It's literal Warhammer art, so
sure.
I
like it is literal Warhammer art.
But
that's just my. I thought it'd be wilder. Like it'd feel. There'd be like imagine like if you added like a Sin City or like a Frank Miller kind of like comic book grit to it, right? But like I thought it'd be grittier and less.
I feel
like
I
CGI.
feel like it's tough with these crossover products because I'm assuming like Game Workshop or whoever it is that makes 40K like. It's got to be a collaboration. So maybe it's not all on Wizards in these cases. And maybe they're like, hey, like, if you're going to do this, like, we want you to use, like, our art or the official art or make it look like this. So I don't know how much, like, how much of it is on Wizards and how much of it on Game Workshop. Do they even have the option? Could they do, like, ridiculous showcase, Sin City versions if they wanted to? Or is it, like... Game Workshop that would be like veto that and be like, no, like you're trying to like whatever promote our game here and we need our actual art to be out there. So I feel like with Universes Beyond, it's tricky to know like all the details of it.
Well, you can leave the art then. Like it's not like the art's bad by any means, but like what about the borders? Like look at the borders. You could easily add
a little fancier.
They are a bit different, but yeah,
like,
I guess
not like the grit that I would expect, right? Like I get the steely artifact look of like, the emo tech, like that whole mono black deck. But like some of the other stuff, like it just feels like it could use more, I don't know, like I guess like a little bit of like a filter over the borders, right? And add a little more like
there is a filter. You
right,
mean a bit,
but
bit,
like
bit
grainy.
more, yeah.
Yeah, like a grainy
an
filter over
filter. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Warhammer to even delve into. I don't know. Maybe this looks like Warhammer. Maybe it doesn't. I just don't know enough about the game. But that is interesting feedback that maybe they could do something even more creative with the artwork and the borders and stuff on some of these. Because I do agree that like compared to some of the wild Secret Lair drops, these do look like kind of normal Magic cards. There's a little bit of a twist and the borders are a little bit different, but compared to some of the like far out like band poster layer drops or tattoo layer drops, some of the crazier things Wizards does, this is pretty tame, I guess, overall.
That's a plus for me, actually. I really like that they will fit into my decks because, I mean, my Manos Kaga deck will have mostly non-Warhammer cards. The only thing I really don't like is the reprintability is very limited, and if something like the Tomb Fortress or something gets out of hand price-wise, although Tomb Fortress is very reprintable, but
that one's
we'll see. Wizards doesn't
it's
really
more of like the
doing this.
Astartes.
Looks like
if Necron Deathmark needs to be reprinted, what are you gonna do? Like, what's a Necron? How do you bring that to Magic? Like, that's something I'm concerned about too. Is how you're gonna reprint these? Do you have a plan for reprinting these? Do you have the rights to reprint these? It doesn't sound like it from the little bits of information that we've got so far. It sounds like Wizards is kind of like, oh, we're just not planning on reprinting them at this point, and it'll be fine. That concerns me as someone who wants to see everything reprinted and prices kept cheap. So, but again, I guess Wizards is just like figuring all this stuff out, and Universes Beyond is new. And to their credit, when we had the big issue with the Walking Dead Secret Lair drop, Wizards actually responded pretty well to that and was like, okay, we'll print Magic versions in set boosters. Like, we got a plan, we figured it out, and that was a pretty good solution, I think. So hopefully, if the feedback on this is, you got to have a plan for reprinting them. Hopefully Wizards takes that to heart and we get something similar to what they did with the Walking Dead Secret Lair drop, where they do have a...
never do it with the Walking Dead. They did do it with Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, yeah.
Didn't they say they were going to do it with Walking Dead now, though? I don't think we've actually seen them yet, but I think they did say they were... That's true. That is true. Anyway, I love the decks. I mean, for me, I don't even care about Warhammer 40K, and I was a little concerned that it was going to be too unlike Magic for my taste, because I know a lot of people have been like, is my immersion going to be broken as we go to all these different worlds? A lot of these cards, like, other than having weird creature types, if you told me this was just a normal commander deck, I wouldn't know any different. Like, whatever. They look magic-y enough to me. The characters, like, they're going to fit right in. I think it's going to be fine. I don't think anyone's, immersion is going to be destroyed because of this. So I feel like Wizards executed this outside of maybe the mana bases and a few specific cards we talked about. I think they executed it pretty well overall. And it's making me feel a little better about Universes Beyond as a whole, because I was someone who was kind of like on the fence and like, I don't know. But I actually actively like this one. This is the first Universes Beyond product where I'm like, I'm going to get these decks. Like, I like these cards. I like the look of them. So I guess well done, Wizards, overall, I would say. But anyway, that brings us to the end of our podcast for today. So you've seen our rankings. You heard us talk about the Warhammer 40k cards. Let us know what you think. Jump in the comments. What cards are you most hyped for? Which cards are you most disappointed in? Which ones are you picking up? Are you going to play with them? What are you building with these cards? Let us know in the comments. And we will be back next week with the full crew to talk about something. I don't know if we figured that out yet, but we'll let you know. So thanks for listening, everyone. And this is a crew signing out.